Jesus Christ. We here in Igbo land, we felt threatened that we cannot continue to sit down, fold our hands and watch while these people who we have reasons to believe is a disguise of Boko Haram keep coming down this way to take over our lands and destroy our people. We decided that today we are going to tell the world where Igbo stand. Amam Banketi will not fold our hands and keep quiet. We will tell them what we are going to do. And we have here the National Coordinator of Igbo Patriots, Mr. Obumneke Ejikonya, who is going to deliver the press release. Thank you.
Thank you, the MC. I want to thank everybody present, members of the high table, and the press. I will beg you to sit down, if you permit me, to sit down and deliver this document. I am Mr. Obumneke Ejikonya, the coordinator of Igbo Patriots. I have the privilege to present today's press release to you. This is a World Press Conference by Igbo Patriots. The theme of this release is PVC, our weapon against bad governance, open grazing, grazing bills, and cattle colonies in Alaibo. Permit me to say all protocols observed, and I proceed. The Igbo Patriots is an amalgam of Igbo representatives, both at home and in diaspora, who are committed to the welfare and well-being of our people through good governance, laced with transparency, probity, and accountability. Being conscious of our history, which has been a history of struggle against our basic rights and the freedom from the British colonialism era to the present internal colonialism and servitude, the recent and the trending determination by the federal authorities to muzzle the National Assembly to legitimate obnoxious grazing and the cattle colony bills raises cause for worry. Having carefully considered the short and long implications of this move and the seeming consequences of some of the seeming inactions of some of our elected leaders, we view as reprehensible and unacceptable any attempt to cede any part and parcel of land in Igbo land. Historically, socio-politically, and especially, we are Republican by nature, orientation, and attitude. This makes it imperative that whatever decisions or actions that will impact the mass of our people or involve the general good welfare or will of the citizens must be democratically deliberated, agreed, and acted upon transparently. We are shaken and dumbfounded that black sheep amongst our Igbo brethren who graciously occupy positions of authority and responsibility are conniving with the federal authorities to compromise the interest, well-being, and security of our people by promising lands. Igbo Patriots are averse to such actions and will not tolerate any prodigal exploits in whatever guise, form, and shape. We dare make bold to state equivocally and without any fear of contradiction that we won't yield an inch of land to satisfy the private business interest of Meyetti Allah cattle breeders and their hegemonic patrons. Most perplexing is that this demand by federal government is coming in the heels of the horrendous actions and atrocities by these herdsmen that have led to various destruction of food and catch crops and loss of precious lives of Igbos and other Nigerians. We appeal to all men and women of goodwill of Igbo extraction in all arms of government and authority to hit the clarion call, lend their voice, influence and connections and powers de facto and de jure in this struggle against internal neo-colonialism and subjugation. With all sense of urgency, we call on the legislative houses in the Southeast Zone and also some legislative houses in the South-South, especially the Rivers and the Delta states, where we have more or most Igbo-speaking people dwelling in the states, to enact anti-grazing and the anti-cattle colony laws with their consequences for infractions and empower the governors to enforce the law without let or hindrance. It is paradoxical and that despite the heavy and the intimidating military and police presence, the herdsmen still get away with their impunity. Hence, the governors should consider vigilant groups to tackle the menace in lieu of security forces, abdication of their responsibilities. Before I proceed with what we typed in the paper, the press release, permit me to hint more on this. We don't only want the state legislature to enact laws, we also want them to ensure that the governors empower the law. And if the governors fail to enforce the laws, they should take on their responsibilities as lawmakers. If they could go in Abia State, the lawmakers will set up a committee and they have to work against the state chief judge. That is the duty of the lawmakers. So they know their responsibilities. Here in the southeast and in most parts of Nigeria, the Fulani cattle rearers, who we call the herdsmen, are causing various problems, killing people, raping women in the farms, destroying catch crops, thereby causing economic sabotage, and our lawmakers are doing nothing about that. We want them to wake up to their responsibilities, and we want them to know that they have goodwill of the people to do what is right. It is their duty to enact anti-grazing bill. When they don't do that, it becomes our duty to tell them that as we empower them by voting them, we can call them back. So we are calling on them to do their work, or we do our work and call them back. Thank you. In the light of these challenges, we wish to, with all sense of responsibility and duty, draw the attention of our people that are 18 years and above to the ongoing INEC continuous voters registration exercise and its importance in the electoral process. They should avail themselves of the opportunity and get registered and collect their permanent voters card, PVC. It is your civic right to vote and be voted for. Do not sell your vote, because your vote is your power, and ensure that you vote in all elections and insist that the votes are transparently counted, recorded, and announced before you leave polling booths. That is the only legitimate weapon through which you can participate and influence the electoral process by electing through representatives who will be in sync with our yearnings and aspirations as a people and see it as a bounden duty to, through legislative and executive interventions, be on the same page with us. We are calling on our people, Igbo people, anywhere you are in Nigeria, whether you are in southeast, southern part of the country or the northern part of the country. If you are up to 18 years, go and register, have your PVC, permanent voters card. It is unfortunate that so many people do not know what is PVC. Some think that it is one medical document or one license. So PVC, permanent voters card, go and register and have it. If we look at the theme of our press conference, it is PVC, our weapon against bad governance, open grazing, grazing bills and cattle colonies. It is this PVC that will empower us to do anything that we want to achieve. Politically, we can achieve it. If we want the herdsmen to stop disturbing our people, killing them, raping our women, destroying our cash crops and causing economic sabotage, it is through our PVC. It is through our PVCs that we have to elect people that we do what we want. It is through our PVCs that we have to tell our government that you must do the right things. Our governors, you must do the yearnings of the people. Power belongs to the people. But when we don't have PVCs, we can't elect people. We stay at home during the election time. When we don't have PVCs, we cannot influence what is happening in the federal. It is the federal government that determines most things that happen in Nigeria. If you don't elect the president, if you cannot decide who will be the president, then how can you decide the future? How can you decide what will happen in Nigeria? So we are calling on Ndi Igbo, anywhere you are, go and register. The INEC registration is ongoing. It's a continuous process. Go and register. Make out time. 2 hours from your business will not sink your business. Take permission from your places of work. Your bosses can give you 3 hours. Go and register and get your PVC. PVC is our weapon. All these things we are speaking here are grammars. And the grammar will not work if you don't have your PVC. We are laying more emphasis on PVC. And also, we want to use it to stop cattle rearing in the open in Aligo. Any person that wants to rear can go and buy land, do ranching. We are not sending any person out of Aligo. Aligo belongs to us, but we welcome everybody from any tribe, from any country. But if you must do things, you must do it right. And we are telling our people that we have to force our government to do the right thing by voting. And we cannot vote when we don't have our PVCs. In conclusion, Igbo Patriots totally and comprehensively reject the grazing bill and cattle colony and whatever they represent. We are not oblivious of the fact that it is members of the ruling elites that own the cattle and encourage headmen's terror. We therefore urge President Muhammadu Buhari to de-escalate the tension in the land by being more sensitive, just, considerate, human, and patriarchal in dealing with the affairs of the nation, taking into cognizance the ethnic, cultural, and religious diversities of Nigeria. Yes. The government should look for more creative, tension-free, and less arrogant way in handling critical national issues for peace, concord, growth, development, and good neighborliness. Thank you and God bless you. I am Obineke Ejiko Yokabo, coordinator and convener of Igbo Patriots. And the people that put their signatures to this press release are Comrade Atom Wakama, he is the secretary. Comrade Ifeanyi Okonkwo, he is the publicity secretary. Okezie Ogo and Kelechi Mwabarocha, they are our Australia coordinators. Jack D.I. Igwe Asia coordinator. Chidioke Oham, Europe coordinator, and Kenny Uzoma, North American coordinator. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.
We were going to take a question. What's the name, sir?
Sorry, my name is Ndubisi Anaelu.
Your video.
All right, from the customary government of indigenous people of Biafra, from Anambra State. However, my question goes like this. I want to know if after this World Press Conference, whether we have plans, practical plans to forward this letter to the individual houses of assembly in our region. I want to know if we have such a plan to do that. Thank you.
My name is Jude Osai of Nigeria Tribune. I want to know how old this organization is. I'm asking this question because this organization was very silent during the killing of our brothers at Nib. And again, this organization did not talk about the killing. And he said, I said one. My name is Jude Osai of Nigeria Tribune. Yes. I want to find out how old is this organization. This stems from the fact that this group was silent during the killing of our brothers at Nib, and Uzowan, and the recent killing too at Ebero. Don't talk about it. Thank you very much.
My name is Delivery Onyama Junior. I'm a photographer and a media man. I have a few questions actually. First of all, I went through this article and I'm impressed by the write-ups. But my suggestion actually, or more like a question, is there a way we can adjust our write-ups so that some people who may not be well knowledgeable with bogus language, bogus words, could understand it a bit more? Because some people could go through it. Because like I said, I went through it. Like it's a very impressive article. But I'm sure there are people who may not understand some of these bogus words. Okay, we need words that has was a little bit of simplicity attached to it, so that these people could comprehend a lot more. And that's just one thing. Another thing is what more are they doing to bring about this vigilante in the southeast or in the east that could eradicate this cattle herdsman issue we are going through? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So whether the Igbo Patriots has any plan, for a kind of to host another event, something like rally or any other event after this World Press Conference. Chooks, Eze, the Oracle today.
The Oracle.
Today.
Last question.
Vino King. Mine is not just a question, but a reaction to what you people are giving us.
So what's the media?
Pardon?
Your media house?
No. I'm representing myself and those that have the same mind with me. In fact, when you look around, the number of people you see doesn't reflect the seriousness this issue deserves. Far back in the 60s, the Igbos faced annihilation. And of course, those who are students of conflict studies will know that it is a spiral, it is a process. Once the problem is not solved, it keeps on recurring through different means. I think this act of terrorism by the so-called herdsmen. I doubt if it's just herdsmen. You know, it's not just an accidental event. It is premeditated.
So you have a question? Because we understand your point.
Well, so my question is, why didn't you, considering the nature, the seriousness of this World Press Conference, I wonder why didn't you didn't mobilize enough people to come and participate?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Rather than sitting at home to hear from the press.
Thank you.
The radio, you don't know.
Sir, Mr. Delibo Nyama Jr., this is a press document. It is drafted for journalists to read. When they read it, they have their own kind of brain to dissect it and translate it to the public. Because it's the public that will read it. They use the common man's language. Maybe whoever drafted it used the language that journalists understand best. Those who are here are supposed to be exclusively journalists, because this is a press conference. And sir, Mr. Vino Kenyi, like I said earlier, this is a press conference. We mobilized journalists to come. And when we want people to come out to express themselves, to show their anger about what is going on, we will also mobilize people, the general public. But today, we just mobilized media men who are in Enugu. They are now going to transmit our message to the world, to everybody. Thank you, sir.
Vigilante groups in the southeast. Yes, if you look at the context of the press conference, what we are saying there, that's why we are talking seriously about the legislative arm of government. They are our representatives. They are conscious or they are aware of what is happening, how people are being slaughtered, how economic trees, cash crops are being destroyed, how our villages and our people are being sacked from our communities. So we said there, it was specifically stated that they should use their legislative job to ensure that the government, empower the governors, so that the governors will come up with ability to deal with this situation. Because as it is, if the legislators don't come up with the laws, anti-grazing laws, how will the governors function? So with that law, the governor will be empowered to deal with that situation wherever it occurs. And we equally stated there that vigilantes, we are encouraging the governor to come up with vigilante groups, since it is very clear that the Nigerian states, because of the security architecture of the Nigerian states, the federal government is silent whenever people are being slaughtered. And the security architecture is made up of mostly Fulanis and Hausas. So they are here as police, they are here as military. So whenever these things happen, because it didn't happen directly to their people, they will never respond immediately. But whenever you see them going, they will go to avoid the reprisal attacks. They will tell you that they want to make peace, they will not be hate speeches. They are there to protect their people. So that is that angle. We are not going to bring up vigilante. It is not left for government. But when government does not do that, we shall know the other measures through which we can continue to pressure government to do that. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You know, my name is Ebere Chukwu. This question of asked by our brother Jude, I think Jude Oga from Tribune. Osai, all right, Osai. How old is the organization? Relatively, we are new. Relatively, we are new. The Igbo Patriots, we are new. We are just, you know, and this is our first major press conference, or world press conference. And on the issue of Uzuwani killings, because I am from Uzuwan. If we remember, the issue of Uzuwan and the killings then was not for cattle colonies. We did not know. It was just that we woke up one sad morning to hear that our people were slaughtered in Nim. And some of us here, there was a protest. We carried a protest to the government house, Enugu government house, because this present governor was still the governor when the incident happened. And I know that from these people sitting here, we were able to get across to France 24 and some other international media houses, and they came, they saw, and they reported it. But what we are saying, what we are principally saying is that be it the herdsmen killing either for cattle rearing, either for colonies, either for anything, we are tired of seeing our people slaughter every day. We are tired of seeing our women, our mothers, our sisters, our aunties being raped every day. Be it for colony, be it for cattle rearing, be it for herdsmen. Igbo land, we cannot again, we cannot experience one killing again. We cannot. And we do not have a land that we can donate for. What we are even saying is that where they are, the places that they settled, there are some parts of Igbo land where we have them. We are demanding that they should begin to pay us rent. They are supposed to pay us rent. Because in Sabon Gerikano, my people pay rent there. They make their money, they buy land, they begin to build houses and other things. I mean, there is an emir in Kano. How will it look like that myself, Ebere Chukwu, will go there at his backyard and I want to have a pig colony there? How will it sound like? We don't have land for cattle colony. We are not even giving them land for ranches. We have our brothers and sisters who can do the business and do it well and do it better than them. Enough of killing our people. Be it in the guise of cattle, whatever. Be it, we don't have a land to donate for colony. We do not have such land. If they want their business, their private business, they should go back to Sambisa forest. Take over their forest and begin to rear their cattle there. It's a private business, for crying out loud. I know that what caused the Nimbo killing was because they wanted to drive my people away and take over our land. But it cannot happen again. Our governors, the House of Assembly members, the House of Reps members, the senators from this side, if they refuse to do their job, when they come back here, we'll deal with them. Because we voted them to go and represent us. If the Fulani is finished killing us, who will they come back to rule over? Thank you and God bless you.
To cap it up, I think my response goes more to what the first person asked. The first question here. He asked about our supplementary actions that we follow if this didn't happen. I mean, if what we call for didn't happen. I think that was what you asked. If you look at what I have here, they are signature pages. We collected signatures from Igbo in various states and outside the country. Our people in diaspora are scanning and sending their signatures down. So all these things, if we cannot attach them to letters, we can snap them and attach the pictures to letters that we will send to the 7 houses of assembly in these states I mentioned when I was reading the press conference. Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, Delta and Rivers State. We are talking to the state assemblies to enact anti-open grazing bill, and the governors should sign them into law, get vigilant groups to execute the law. We don't want the police to do it. Police has failed in several occasions to execute similar laws. When they don't do it, what do we do? That's one of the questions somebody asked here. When they don't do it, we mobilize and move to the streets. I am saying this without fear of any person. It is a civic responsibility of any citizen to protest. Yes, we can shut down House of Assemblies, we can shut down government houses because of this thing. We will write to them and give them time to do the job. Igbos called us to do this. Yes, the group was convened, but we got the authority from Igbo people because they gave us the support. And when the time comes, they will come out. That's why we are collecting these signatures to tell our leaders that we are not just alone. If we look, I have several books here and they are filled with names. We are not alone on this assignment. You may see 20 or 30 of us, but when the time comes, you will see multitudes. So we don't want to shut the government, any government. It's not our duty. We are law-abiding people. But when government refuses to do its job, we will get it to do its job. So we are not just talking. The era of talking is over. The era of talking is over. This is time for action. If you don't do what we want you to do, we are not waiting for 2019 to vote you out. We will start now. And by 2019, you must have lost your political relevance in the southeastern Nigeria. And the time will come when we will also write to our people in the federal house. But we believe now that this is the law the work the states can do. At this point, it is the state that we are laying more emphasis on. We want the state to stand up to its responsibility and do its work. So we are not just stopping here. We will write to the state assemblies, we will write to the governors, and we will do a follow-up to that. And I think we've done justice to all the questions that are asked.
I want to make a reminder.
Okay, Engineer Tony Anebo, an administrator of customary government, wants to make a reminder. After that, if there are more questions, we still have time, about 30 more minutes. So, my administrator will have the floor.
It's also a reminder to the complainer. Actually, when you read out the press release, we mentioned only 2 states outside Southeast as an area where the Igbos are living or have abode. But I want to remind you, sir, that we have a chunk of Igbo people who are residents in Benue State. Please, I'm aware of about 4 local government areas in Benue State that are Igbo people. And they have made it very clear in several fora that they are Igbo. There's a group that called themselves Benue Igbo Association. They are Igbo people. So, and I'm sure also we have Igbo people, the Igbo people that live in a state. They have also made it very clear that they are Igbo. And I'm sure that if you get down to Akwa Ibom State, between Cross River, there are Igbo people who are there forgotten, probably because they don't make money, not because of fear. So I want to remind us here that we shouldn't leave our people wherever they are. We must be able to bring them on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to personally thank the administrator of customary government, Engineer Tony Anebo, for reminding us that although in Benue State we might not do much because the governor has already The government of Benue has already done
working.
Yes, it's working. There is anti-open grazing in Benue State. We will see how we will extend our job to other states like Cross Rivers and Akwa Ibom that you mentioned. And the Edo states. We also carry the people there around. Even the non-Igbos will welcome the idea. Thank you for that. So, are there more questions from the...
Against this, what will be your next action?
Okay.
Has it been answered?
It's like, sorry, let me take that. Asked, what are the other actions we are going to take after this press conference? I think that...
is that your question?
No, I'm coming. Because what I want to...
If the governors, the government of Southeast fail to make the law to guard against these issues you have raised, what will be your next action?
Yes, we'll appeal to them first, like we have just want to do. But when they refuse, sorry, we'll have to protest. We'll have to carry protest all over Southeast and part of South-South to drum it into their ears. And that is why we are also saying that our PVC, permanent voters card, we will use our voters card to vote them out. And we will so mobilize the activists to take over the government. We will mobilize and we will mobilize and we will mobilize. We'll do everything constitutionally right to take over the government of Southeast. Thank you.
Please, there is one question that was not taken.
Which one?
The man from Oracle. Is the Oracle here? So he said that if at the end of this press conference, does Igbo Patriots have any program like a post-conference anything? That's his question.
Yes, sir. And we have already
I think I gave justice to that.
Gave justice to that.
Our action is a continuous process.
Yes.
We did not just start to talk, go back, and people clap for us. We are serious with what we are doing. And sir, your last question, my DG was a bit diplomatic. She said we are going to stop the government of Southeast if they fail to implement the law. This is what people want. They have not even, if the House of Representatives, House of Assembly members fail to pass the bill, we understand government, we understand governance, we understand what government is all about. Government has 3 arms: legislative, executive, and judiciary. The job starts with the legislative arm. So our letters will go first to the legislative arm and the state assemblies to enact the bill. If they refuse, that's where we will start our action. We will stop, we will close down the state legislative house. By the time we mobilize 50,000 people from a particular state and we are in front of the state assembly, I don't know whether they will do their job for a week. This time around, we do it the way it's being done in the people that taught us democracy. We wouldn't mind being hungry and being in the street for 1 full week.
That's right.
Yes, and we are on the streets doing the job. We said, when we were convening, when we were starting, we agreed that we will not involve politicians in this group. We are sponsoring ourselves. We don't want to report over. Everything is being done. It is the zeal of the people. We have coordinators in various states.
All the states.
It's just that this is press conference. We are dealing with the press and few people within any group states. If we want to mobilize, if the government want to try our way, we will show them. People want anti-open grazing bill. Do it, you don't have issues with us. If you don't do it, we talk to the people. Then the people will take, will do what is right. Coming out in the street is not against the law. We do the right thing, as she said, democratically right, legally things. We are law abiding, but we won't fear any government. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. More questions?
what are your plans? Talking about making so much emphasis on PVC and the political attitude of the Southeasterners, who are mainly Igbos. What are your plans to get more Southeasterners to be politically conscious? Do you have any program, sensitization program that is ongoing to ensure that people go out and know the power of their PVC? And as well, the frustration some people have recorded, we've seen where the people from Southeasterners, when they go to where they are supposed to be registered, they'll be talking about the capacity is not enough, or the inability of INEC to register more people, and the rest of them. That frustration have left a lot of people not having the seat to go and pick up them. So what are your plans to tackle that very challenge? Because that is the biggest challenge people are facing to get their things.
Okay, thank you. Sir, thank God of Fuelwe. I'm also a journalist. The Igbo Patriots have looked at the figures, the recent figures of those who have registered for their PVCs, and the Southeast is way behind. About 8 million something persons have collected their PVCs, and the Northwest has about 18 million persons. You can see that we are way behind. Now, the Igbo Patriots have decided that Ndi Igbo, Mandi no na diaspora, don't know the importance of the PVC. That's the truth. Because if we know the importance of the PVC, we'll leave our businesses and go out and get it. We'll stay hungry, we'll leave every other thing we are doing to get it. So the Igbo Patriots have a plan which is being unfolded at the moment as I speak to you here. It's been unfolded. This plan will take our members, both in Igbo land, outside Igbo land in Nigeria and in the diaspora, across. We'll go around, educate our people on the importance of the PVC, and go an extra mile to ensure that our people go out and get their PVCs. There is a plan, and that plan is a long-term plan. We will ensure that this bridge, this issue of that those in the north will go out and they will get a log of wood, give it a name, and that log of food will be registered as a voting person in the north. Goats, cows, or cook or chickens. They register them. We will bridge that gap. We will have more population here. But we don't know the importance of the PVC. Everybody sits down and says, they say, go and get your PVC. Yes, we'll get our PVC. And nobody does it. Nobody goes out to get the PVC. But this time, we'll go into the streets, we'll go into the villages, no matter how remote it is. Now, we are going to do it. It is something that has never happened before in this part of the world. It's going to happen this time. So, don't worry. You will see our plans as they unfold. Thank you.
My name is Engineer Madina Sentubinda, President of the Human Rights Initiative. I thank God for the particular union to start with. A day, they say, begins a story. The hour has come for us to take our destiny in our hands. And for everything that starts has an end. Yes, they have done a lot of things to keep you and I where we are today. The most important aspect of it is the census. Local government creations, where they have made us to be minority, till death. And that's the indices that we're using to share this with the national commonwealth. But what I want to tell you, this particular organization today, the Igbo Patriots, we are out to deal with that situation of frustrating our people. It's a ploy to make sure we don't register, don't have a PVC. Like today as I speak, they have this automated machine teaching those from child on how to vote. That's another one aspect of it. We are looking into it. Are we not in the same country? Are we not supposed to have that kind of training here? Teaching people on how to vote. So the Patriots are ready to go into the centers where we have all these machines. And not the reason why they say we cannot be registered. If they cannot give us a reasonable answer why we cannot be registered, we'll stop the election in this country because we did not register and we don't have PVC. If you don't have PVC, how do we vote? So it's a very big ploy. Now we have somebody who doesn't, we don't think that is a president to start to say it all. And today, the cabals are using all sort of gimmicks to make sure that we should change. The era is gone. We have to create awareness through every medium, both the churches, to rise. Everybody that's 18 years and above, or if it was 16, should go and register and have this PVC. So what do you ask about the frustration we get when we go to register? We have already decided to take care of it. We have to move from center to center and report it to the media. Thank you very much.
Liaison Officer of Customary Government of Indigenous People of Biafra, CGIU. I want us to remember something. As we are talking of, as we are talking of making our people to know the importance of PVC and the use of PVC, we should know within ourselves how to approach our people. Because we believe through human rights, there is nothing after God have made all things possible we can't get. But this now is misconception, and then misplacement of ideas. If you say, for example, approach of how you get Biafra is by war, that is secession, that is violence. But if it is by human rights based on United Nations Declaration on right to self-determination, if you go about it the legitimate way, then you can tell those people that are looking for it in the violent way to go and register for PVC. That even if it is not for them to vote for Biafra, why they can use it. Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming to this press briefing. My name is Igbo Anthony. I'm the administrator of the customary government of Biafran people. I want to thank all of you, everybody who is here, both the journalists and the friends of the Patriots, who make our time to come here this morning and be part of this occasion. We are very grateful to be here. It's good that an organization like this has come up. Just like somebody asked the question of when. It is not when that really matters. What matters is how far. My request is that, because in Manandi Banara was some million, let our coming together in this platform be different. Because I know we have so many organizations in Igbo land, socio-cultural, political, civil society, name them. But one will still have to ask, how far? But I want to assure you that this organization, we have an exploit that is better than what we had before. This is a child of circumstance. And we had a money. So, let our actions speak louder than our voice. I know that the killing of Igbo man must stop. We have died enough. We have died enough. So we are coming here today to support the Patriots. It's a good one, and we are very happy for that. We thank you very much and expect that when next we call on you, please do answer, because it is for our future. It is for our people. Thank you very much, and God bless you. We are also using this opportunity to thank the Patriots who have put together this program of World Press Conference. We want to believe that your words, or rather our words,
we go beyond and reach to where we expect them to reach, so that the world will know really that we have problems. We thank you, and we hope to go further away from it. Thank you very much. Thank you.